Hey out there, I'm Rob Math with Marshall, and I have the pleasure to introduce you to the MG100DFX. This is an awesome combo. It's part of Marshall's MG series. It's a 100-watt solid-state combo that has many cool features. It gives you two separate channels here, a clean and an overdrive. But for each channel, you get two modes. So on the clean channel, you get a clean mode, and then you get sort of like a vintage crunch mode. And as you go over to the overdrive channel, you get two separate overdrives. One that's pretty biting and in your face, and then one that's even more in your face and over the top. More saturation, more gain for leads. The MG series is our all solid state series, and it incorporates Marshall's proprietary FDD technology, which stands for Frequency Dependent Damping. And let me just talk a little bit about what frequency dependent damping is and what damping is. Through the years, Marshall has always been making tube amps and has been known for the Marshall tone. What we wanted to do is recreate the feel of a tube amplifier, or a Marshall tube amp, to say, and also the Marshall tone, right? But with solid state technology and solid state circuitry. So one of the key differences between tube amplifiers and solid-state amplifiers is how the power amp section interacts with the speaker. And this is something called damping, okay? The damping characteristics of how the speaker moves, the interaction between the output transformer and the speaker. On a tube amp, we like to say that a tube amp's power amp section allows the speaker to misbehave. And it's frequency dependent. So depending on the different frequencies and that you play on your guitar, the speaker is going to respond and react to that. In a solid state amp, you don't get that type of response. It's usually just a stiffer, exact response every time you're playing. So in order to get a solid state amp to feel and respond a lot more like an all tube amp, Marshall came up with a technology which they call frequency dependent dampening, which makes this output section interact with the speaker in the same manner and the same fashion that you would get from an all-tube power amp. So the result is you get the feel and response of a tube amp out of a solid-state combo. So very cool. This is part of our MG series. We've got the MG15CD, the 15CDR, the 15DFX, smaller 15-watt combos. We've got the MG30DFX. We've got the 50DFX. The 100 DFX, the 250 DFX, and this also comes in a 100 DFX head. This has a custom Celestion speaker here. It's a closed back cabinet. In fact, all our MG amplifiers are closed back except for the 30. It's foot switchable, has the FDD, and as you look over here, it's got a CD in. That stands for CD input, so you can plug in a CD player here, and what it does is it actually runs that signal directly through the power amp section, bypassing the preamp. So this way you could go ahead and blend, say, a distorted sound that you're jamming on top with a clean backing track running through the speaker system here, which is very cool. You'll see here you've got an emulated line out and an emulated headphone out. This is actually, if you want to go direct out for recording, or if you want to use this for live, you can take that signal to go out to a mixing console and get the sound of, say, a mic, a microphone being placed in front of the cabinet. It's an emulated line out, so it's going to give you that same response. Another cool tip would be is if you wanted to run that emulated line out and throw a mic in front of it if you're doing some recording, or if you want to really try to blend some sounds. That's another cool feature. But if you just want to, if you're recording at home and you can't crank it up and you can't mic it and you want to get a mic sound, go for that emulated line out. It's killer. Emulated headphone out. Again, if you plug headphones in, you're going to get that same sound that you're hearing out front through the emulated headphone out. As we take a look at the front, we've got digital effects here. So MG100DFX, digital effects. So what do we have? Well, we've got chorus and delay. We've got a delay, a chorus, and a flange. So chorus and delay, that's one effect together. Then we've got a separate delay, a separate chorus, and a separate flanger. And then we've got a separate reverb over here. And as you'll notice, we have a parallel effects loop too, with loop level control on the back for depending if you're plugging in stomp boxes or effects processors. +4 for effects processors, and it would be -10 for stomp boxes. Let me just double check that. Yeah, -10 for stomp boxes. Okay, so We've talked a lot about the amp, frequency dependent damping, Marshall tone. Let's give this amp a little listen, okay? Let's start out, I'm just going to take you, this is Overdrive 2 actually, and let you hear how great this amp sounds. In this side, we can get everything from vintage gain. Let's go to OD1 and go back to bring the gain back a little bit and go for more of a older style Marshall tone. That response, which is very cool. You would normally only get that out of an all-tube amplifier. Let's crank up the gain a little bit more, and we're going to get the gain stage is voiced from, say, an older Plexi to a hot rod, a JCM 800, right on this first mode. Heavier type. And one of the great things that we have here is a contour control. At Marshall, they actually call this the old guy, new guy control, because if you crank it up, it gives you what more the younger guys want, which is essentially, it's sort of like a mid sweep. So it scoops the mids here. And if we bring it back, it gives you more of the old guy sound. That's one real cool thing to mention. So if we crank the contour up, it's going to scoop the mids, okay? And we can bring up the treble. And let's go to Overdrive 2 now. Listen to that. And that's where we can really get our real heavy tone out of this amplifier. That's why a lot of guys love the MG100DFXs. You've got Wayne Static from Static X that uses them, Tommy Victor from Prong, and those guys do a lot of that. It's great for lead stuff. What about digital effects? God, I've gone through a lot of different sounds just without effects. So let me let you hear the same sound. I'm going to bring the contour back. If you want more of a nice mid-rangey lead tone, you can turn on a little delay here. Bring the contour back. Let me just turn it down just a little bit. Sorry about that. The effect level down here, or bring it up. Let's bring it down. Okay, and we also have some other digital effects which I'm going to go through on the clean channel. So let's move over now to the clean. What you're going to find here is you've got a great, really versatile clean tone. So let's take a listen. Sounds great. This is on the clean mode. There's also a crunch mode here. Pretty sweet, okay? Great for all different stuff. Let's add a little chorus to that. Let's see how it sounds. What if I wanted to add a little delay? We just go to our delay section, we turn the dial until it says delay, and then we can use the same adjust control or preset select control to adjust the parameter. And over here we have our effect level. So now I've dialed a little slap. Okay. Okay, so this is great for a little country style solo. Great response as well. You can hear how tight the close back is with that speaker section. So I can get lots of different great sounds. Here's with a little flanger. Kind of psychedelic. Okay, and the first channel we can also get a vintage crunch style of sound. Let's give that a little listen. Bring the gain back. So there you have it. One last demonstration I want to show you is what the FDD sounds like in and out. So let's go over to the high gain channel. Okay, so here's with the FDD out, so it's not in. ears with it in. So you can hear a level difference. There's also a difference in response to your picking technique. Just kind of brings it into focus, brings the tone into focus, and gives a little bit more width and dimension to the sound. So just to recap, this is the MG100DFX. It's a killer combo, part of the MG series, which is our all solid state series for Marshall. Features 2 foot-switchable channels here. Each channel has its own mode. You've got a clean channel with a crunch mode. You've got OD1 and OD2, 2 different overdrive gain stages. One that's more of like a Marshall JCM 800 hot rodded to even more gain and beyond to a DSL to a JCM 2000 Marshall. Contour control is more of like a mid sweep. Essentially, we call it the old guy, new guy control. If you crank it up, it's going to give you, on the MG100, you crank it up, it gives you more, scoops the mids essentially. So more of the younger sound, and the other direction is going to give you the older, more mid-rangey type of tone. Comes compact with digital effects, CD input, emulated line out, emulated headphone out, and a custom Celestion. I'm Rob Math with Marshall. Thanks for listening. Take care.